So, good afternoon, everybody. This is the Lafayette Engineering Club introduction and today we'll be discussing all the different programs and the plans that we have for COVID. And this is a picture of our team, and we'll have our FRC captain start us off.
Hey, so I'm Tim, and FRC is a ninth through 12th grade program that normally would start in January when we get back from break. Due to COVID, a few things are changing. Some of those being that first, rather than holding the regular competition, instead has three smaller challenges. So these are the Game Design Challenge, the Qualcomm Innovation Challenge, and Infinite Recharge at Home. The Game Design Challenge gives us a chance to design a game that FIRST may use in the future. And the Qualcomm Innovation Challenge is where we identify a real world problem and create a business model and plan uh, to solve it. And both of these challenges we may participate in. I think we will. But we would compete against other FRC teams. The last one is Infinite Recharge at Home, which is Infinite Recharge is last year's game, but instead of competing against other teams, instead we're showing off the technical aspects and the skills our robot can complete virtually from home. Along with this, I'm planning some activities with the mentors being Dennis and Corey, which will revolve around making the chassis, which is the base of our bot, and trying to teach newcomers CAD and programming that we use to create the chassis. We have a video of us making last year's practice chassis. It's the second one to the right. We can show that later. And a big part of FRC for newcomers is learning how to use the tools and do the hands-on work with the machines in the shop. So hopefully we can go back to school and do that soon. With them opening up for learning pods is definitely a possibility. So can you show the videos or?
Okay, so the next program that we do is called FLL, and that stands for First LEGO League. This is actually a program that we do with younger students, so students from elementary school and middle school, but the high school students mentor them. And basically what it is you build a little Lego robot and you program it to complete different missions and for different levels of points. The top right picture is my team's robot from last year, and the bottom photo is just showing you like what the typical game board looks like. It's usually different every year because the game changes. And there's also a project portion of FLL where they basically give you a question and then you have to research it and create some sort of solution for it. And the season is usually from August to December, but we're not actually doing it this year because we can't with Corona. but we're still doing some online operation stuff with it. Like we're working with the Girl Scouts to help them get some badges that involve FLL and programming and robotics. And that's happening in the beginning of 2021. And then if there's any students on here who are younger and are interested in this, I recommend that you look at Scratch and like play around with it, because the way you program on Scratch is kind of similar to the EV3s that you use for programming on here. And if you're interested in mentoring, it's very fun. And yeah.
All right, we'll go to the next one.
All right, hello guys, I'm Warren and I'm gonna be the VP for FTC this year. And so what FTC is basically a program for freshmen for the club or new members to the engineering club. And what we do is we build a small robot that is 18 by 18 by 18 inches. And it's similar to FRC, but it's on a very smaller scale with less teams competing on the field. And so the basic goal of FTC every year is to introduce students to the engineering principles used in other programs like MATE, FRC, and Autonomous Vehicle. But since this year, we're not going to be able to do that in person, we're planning to do all of our FTC projects through Zoom. So for this year, the season has already started, but since we can't meet in person, we're not going to be able to compete in the season, although we're still going to have classes. So what we plan to do is we plan to teach what the different tools inside the workshop does, and also a bit of introduction to programming for the language of Java. And then if we have time, we're going to try and teach you guys the CAD. So the days we are meeting are every Tuesdays at 2:30. And the first meeting will start on October 20th, which is 2 weeks from now.
Okay. Well, this is the MATE program. It's for our 9th to 12th graders. So obviously, so the season is from March through May. So basically from March to the end of school year. And students are going to design a underwater robot. So it's different from the others in that it's going to be kind of like, a submarine. That's an ROV. That's remote controlled, and it's going to need to move around in a 3D space, obviously underwater. It's using like propellers and things like that. And you have a 15-minute time frame to complete tasks. So, well, there you go. And then students are going to be part of an imaginary company. It's not like a team. It's part of a company. They're going to kind of have to act as entrepreneurs, and they need to present their robot to their client, which is the MATE competition, like as if it's a real world product, as if they're really, creating this as a company. And it has to solve actual problems, which are these tasks are based around. So for this year's theme, and last year's as well, last year was canceled, it's themed around like saving the oceans. So things like they have to clean up trash, things like that. So you need to create a robot that can actually do that, could do that in the real world. And you need to market it as such. So for our plans for this season, it's still a long way off. It's not for until March is when we're going to even start working on it. So hopefully by then we'll have access to the workshop. If not, we have these online CAD program things that we used last year when we were preparing for the season. So we can use that to help with the design portion in preparation for the season. And if anything changes, we're gonna keep you posted. But right now, for our plans, we're just gonna use the workshop because hopefully it'll be open. But the season's still a long way off, so we don't quite know yet. But we'll say in more detail later on in the year.
Hi, my name is Nomi. Autonomous, we still haven't done Autonomous Car yet, so this is pretty new to the club. But basically what you do is that you program a Power Wheel Jeep, and then it has to complete different tasks and travel through different courses and avert obstacles. For this year's plan, we're probably gonna design program different games on Scratch, just considering we can't really go to the workshop. So basically, for the Scratch games, you have to design a game. It could be whatever. I was thinking of like Pac-Man or something, And then one aspect of the game has to be autonomous. So like a ball bouncing from wall to wall, or if you have a maze, one of the walls of the maze is like moving up and down and stuff like that. And then if you're interested and you don't know how to program yet, I also linked interesting, good intro Python videos to help you for next year if we do come back to be more involved both in autonomous car and FRC.
Okay, so for outreach, we do our main thing is we host FLO and FTC competitions, and this is where you can get like volunteering hours, because at these competitions, students fully set up and ref all the matches. So you can come here on weekends during school, but like obviously it's not happening this year, but it'll probably happen next year. And you gain volunteer hours by reffing matches, setting up the tables, scoring, and like doing everything for the competitions. So that's like one of our biggest outreach opportunities. The next is our e-waste drive, and we do this in like winter in the middle of the year, and we collect over like 40,000 pounds of electronics, and then we donate it and gain like a lot of money for our school and for our club. And then another outreach opportunity we do is assemblies and school function demonstrations. So we show off our robot at, let's say, the school assemblies that happen every year, and at town center and like different areas around La Cañada. And then another thing we do are community demonstrations. So like one thing I was a part of was the Montrose parade, where we got to walk down our robot all the way down Montrose, and it was pretty cool. And we got to be with like other teams, and it was one of like a pretty cool community demonstration that we did. And then another thing was music at the park, and we got to show off our robot there too. So this last summer, we also did summer camps, which some of you guys are already part of, and it's where we taught kids how to do programming and CAD for 1 week, and you can volunteer to be like a mentor for that too. And then lastly, one of the new things we've done is we're working with Girl Scouts to teach girls how to get badges and robotics badges, like programming and engineering badges. And then we do this for a whole day, and it's pretty cool. We got to like work with brownies and then help them get their badges. And then, yeah, that's it. Next slide.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to talk about major awards. So the first award is like Chairman's Award, and that's the most prestigious award. So this one is basically honoring teams that represent FIRST like mission and values. So they're like a model representation of what FIRST values. And we actually got this year, and the top left photo is us like all together at our competition where we won Chairman's. The next one is Inspiration, and this one is very similar to Chairman's, and it's very much based on the outreach that we were talking about in the previous slide. So it's basically measuring like your impact on your community and how you spread STEM. So we won this one in 2018 and 2019. And both of these awards send your whole team to Worlds. And also for the Chairman's Award, you need to submit an essay talking about all the outreach events that you do and the impact that you have on your community and like the values that your team holds. And then you also need to make a little like video talking about that stuff as well. And then another award is Dean's List. And this is specifically given to individuals in FIRST that represent like very well-rounded and important individuals in their team. And Harold won this this past season, so let's go Harold. And then the next award is Woody Flowers, and that one's given to mentors of the team, and it's for basically awarding them for challenging, supporting, and teaching their members. And both Mr. Zimmerman and Dennis have won this award, and Dennis won this in the past year. So.
All right, so we also have our chairman's video, which I'll just show real quickly. And does audio work, or I've heard that it doesn't?
Yeah, we're not hearing it. You have to share your computer sound.
There.
Everybody's getting ready to go home and start their homework, but for Blockhead, our day is only just beginning. Since 2007, 2429 has been deeply committed to creating a more STEM-focused community through the numerous programs that it has built and continues to strengthen. Driven by our passion and a desire to spread knowledge, our goal is to help develop and expand STEM throughout the greater Los Angeles area.
Additionally, we continue to strengthen our commitment to our community by ensuring that it is well served. We also host many e-waste drives, providing a service to hundreds of members of our community and collecting and recycling over 35,000 pounds of electronic waste from individuals in La Cañada and La Crescenta. Within our school, 2429 members have helped create a proposal to implement a computer aid design class, which is now available for students at La Cañada High School. We continue this further this year by dedicating an after-school class to our club. Throughout La Cañada Flint Ridge, we have gotten March 14th declared as Appreciate an Engineer Day, and this has been celebrated throughout schools in La Cañada. We host an Engineering Week where we run STEM-oriented activities for students and faculty to participate in during lunch and after school. Finally, we've created a new initiative to give back to our community through partnering with Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. We hosted 7 food drives during our FLL tournaments, collecting over 400 pounds of food to help those in need. New this year, we have partnered with the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles to create an opportunity for Brownie Girl Scouts to earn their Designing Robot badge. We invited a group of girls to our school, and we helped them through all of their requirements needed to earn this design badge and introduced them to FLL by giving them a tour of the FLL tournament. We also continue to strengthen our commitment to FIRST and its many programs. First, we continue to invest tremendous time and resources into FLL, a program where 70% of our FRC members have started from. Every year, between 15 to 20 members from 2429 coach and mentor 4 FLL teams. All of the team members combined have put in over 3,000 hours this year alone into the FLL programs to ensure its continued success. Additionally, we have 2 members mentor an FTC team. We currently host and sponsor both of our FLL and FTC programs, which means providing over $3,000 in funding and assistance. Through mentoring FLL and FTC, we have successfully implemented our farming system model that allows students to transition from FLL to FTC to FRC. Through this, we are able to ensure that the students are provided with a sustainable pathway to continue their learning in STEM principles.
Additionally, we are the Los Angeles region's leading sponsor and partner of FLL tournaments for 6 years in a row. This year alone, we have hosted 7 FLL tournaments, 3 practice, 2 qualifying, and 2 LA Regional Championship tournaments. In the past 5 years, we have hosted 34 tournaments in total. To add to all of this, we have declined all tournament stipends and donated over $25,000 in the last 5 years back to LA FLL.
As we head into our 13th year, we have learned that FRC isn't just about the robots that we build, but the relationships we make and the impact we can have on our community. As we continue to push for greater impact, our influence within LA grows each year. All the while, gracious professionalism and competition thrive within our team as we continue to forge a path towards a more STEM-oriented future by thinking outside the block.
Alright, so that's the end of that video, and here's like a quick schedule summary of the different programs. So we have an e-waste collection on October the 17th, in which we're going to gather electronics from our local community and refurbish them and then distribute them to other communities that need them. For example, like students who have distance learning like ourselves and do not have the technology to support that. And we're actually partnered with a bigger organization called Human IT, which will help us with the distributing process. And then our FTC start, which Warren mentioned, will be on October 20th, and the meetings will be at Tuesdays at 2:30. And autonomous cars will start around January, and FRC will also start around that time. And MATE will start around May, and the Girl Scouts will start in May. So here is the program's interest form. So we can figure out if you would like to, which program you'd like to join. So, and if you're interested in the e-waste collection, put it in the other category. And yeah, that's the end of our slides. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat or unmute. Well, I guess nothing, right? No? All right then.